Hello, hello. Good morning, traders. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a successful Monday. Let me know in the comments how your Monday played out. Did you take some wins, some losses? Let us know in the comments section. Let's jump over to the calendar. And remember, guys, to subscribe to the channel, share the channel far and wide. And also, don't forget, I'll throw a link up in the on the screen here somewhere. I am doing a 50K giveaway on X at the moment, so keep an eye out for that. And be sure to follow the steps for your chance to win a Tradeify eval. Tuesday, where are we? Tuesday, the 15th of April, no news day. We have retail sales ahead of us on Wednesday. Shouldn't really impact today at all. It's not like CPI or anything like that. So yes, it's a high impact news event, but today should be reasonably, I was going to say normal trading conditions, but what is normal at the moment? Who really knows? Alrighty, let's jump over to the charts. All right, over here on the weekly, we'll just run the levels here so we can see price respecting the 25% level at the moment of the previous week's range. Let's move down to the daily. And we had quite a large gap up, but price sold off, filled the gap. So what I'm looking for right now, first of all, the low hanging fruit. Previous day low is the low hanging fruit at the moment. We're currently respecting 50% of the previous day range. What I would like to see is potentially something like this, where we come down, sweet previous day low. We might even put in Tuesday low of the week and then look for price to run higher. We do have these lovely relative equal highs here for drawing liquidity. And again, I do love this high into this bearish FEG here on the daily. Now, I'd like to see something like this play out. We'll see what happens as the day moves on. Let's clear the chart there and move down to the hourly. Let's turn that off for a second. So we can see that we filled that gap, which was our draw. Wasn't able to capitalize on that during yesterday's session, unfortunately. It's an interesting setup because the way price opened and gapped up so decisively up here and then immediately sold off, it just distorts price a little bit. What we are looking at though is we are seeing a change in the state of delivery here. I'd probably even take that to the low, to be honest. And that puts us at, that's really nice actually, that puts us at the Monday low, right into that -2 to 2.5 range. So if we get this sort of move, then we can look to try and either ideally take a position from this level, from the previous day low, and take it back up into the range. That would be my preferred setup for today. And then we can attack these equal highs. That is what I would like to see today. So that puts me looking for price to run lower. at open, as we are respecting this bearish change in state of delivery here, and then look for a reversal from there. But on the day, I'd be looking for price to run bullish off a move from the low. Over to ES now. Low hanging fruit. Previous day low. Similar scenario, we are respecting that 50% level of the previous day's range at the moment. Now that could see price continue to push lower, but what I am looking for is how price reacts at the previous day low. We are still in this bearish FEG here on the daily as well. So price is respecting that. And really that's a similar idea to NQ as well. Although NQ did close through this FEG here. But as I pointed out yesterday, we are bouncing off these opposing candles. A little bit more neutral on ES, and that's okay to have a different bias. I don't lean heavily on bias, although I do like to look and review the bias. But we're still respecting this huge pump here. I think this was the third largest pump in S&P history, this candle here from last Wednesday. So we are respecting that. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, as I say, would like to see previous day low swept for a move to run higher. Moving over to oil. I'll just drop down to the 5-minute quickly because I just marked out a trade that we saw during London. I was looking at this, but I didn't execute. It's a difficult time for me, London, with family time and things like that. So I didn't actually execute this. I was looking at it more for a tape reading exercise. So we had a nice 5-minute Pegasus here, higher time frame point of interest, hourly bearish FEG, formed a C2, which is our candle closure. That's this one here. Candle closes back inside the range of the previous hourly candle out of that point of interest, which is what we had. So that was beautiful.
Connection lost.
We have the FEG here that gets inverted, and we have this FEG here aligned with the breaker. I've used and included this tiny bullish candle because there really is no move. That's just a tiny move in that leg down. So I've used that whole range for the breaker. And we saw that play out to a 2.6 trade if you put your stop at the high. And that's personal opinion. You could put your stop just above the breaker if you choose to do so. Then you end up with a 4.75 trade. And if you were just going to target the Asia low, you get your 2R running it that way. So, again, personal preference, how you want to position your stop. Either way, this was a lovely little trade here. Let me know in the comments if you caught that one. All right, let's move out to the daily. So we didn't get the bias quite right here yesterday. Although it could have gone either way by the looks of that candle. So we had a candle closure back inside the range of the previous candle, but it's not out of a point of interest unless you were looking at this gap, but we did invalidate that gap when we closed through it here. So let's move down to the hourly, and I'll just mark out the previous day low here, because that currently for me would be the draw liquidity as we respect the 50% level of the previous day. Now here's our previous day low. That's where the anticipating price to want to reach for. And on the hourly here, we have that C2 with that insight to order flow there. Again, we have it here out of that bearish FEG. That was the short trade that we just looked at. Changes state of delivery. We also had one here, but that was immediately disrespected. So I'll be looking at this level here to be our indication of what price might want to do. If we respect this level, that'll see price push lower. If we disrespect, then we'll see price likely do something like this, okay? So that's our invalidation level or validation level. At the moment, I'm looking for price to move to this Monday low down here. Ninja Trader playing up there, good stuff. Bearish for oil. Remove that. Let's move out to the daily for euro. Quite an indecisive candle there yesterday. I was back inside the range, but this is what I'll be looking for. Bullish FEG, previous day low. I want to see price come down into this region and see how we react here. Likely a push to the high side from there. So I'm bearish until we get into this bullish FEG. Then I want to see if this is a breakaway gap. Price respects this level, leaves this gap open, and we continue to see higher prices. Dixie, on the other hand, they're sort of both moving in a similar direction at the moment. And you can see that here. They are inversely correlated assets. So that also might be a time, if you're trading euro, to be patient. You want to see the inversion. You really don't want to see them moving in the same direction, in my opinion. But I would like to see Dixie do something like that in comparison to euro, which we want to see do that. Pretty choppy at the moment. Quite a wedge here. If you're into patterns, whichever way we break out of that, looking for something like this. All right, I'm going to be neutral on Dixie because we're in that consolidation at the moment. So we want to see which way price decides it wants to move. Hopping over to gold. We didn't get a bullish move yesterday. Inside bar, we now have the FEG here. Looks like this might be a breakaway gap, pushing higher. What I want to see is price respect these opposing candles. We have a devil's mark below here. I'd like to see price draw towards this and potentially into this bullish FEG and then move higher would be ideal. Let's jump down to the hourly. Yeah, there's not really anything clean here. I mean, other than a little bit of displacement here, where we are seeing some respect of that bullish FEG. If we get a closure above this level with some displacement, that'll show me that price is willing to move higher. We do have these failure swings for price to want to reach to. So we might not get that move lower. Okay, if price respects this bullish PD array here, we may not see that move lower to take out previous day low. Where are we? Where's previous day high? We've got the Sunday high here. That's the Friday high. Some displacement here, closure above this level, then that's what we'll be looking for. So a couple of options there. Again, I'm going to remain neutral for the time being. Jumping over to GU now. Continuing its move higher. Just very clean move higher. Respecting these bullish PD arrays. Again, some more displacement. So if anything, if we see price want to come down, then I'd be looking for this sort of reaction at this level. But in a nice move through this bearish FEG here. Next one up here. A nice closure through these opposing candles here on the daily as well. If we were to run our standard deviations off here, that would put our target region, our target area, all the way up here. Where does that puts us all the way back to, October 21 prices. So that'd be quite a feat over the coming weeks if we can reach up to here. But this was quite a nice move out of this bullish displacement here, respecting that, and then we've done the same thing again. Here's the actual reversal. And if we run the standard deviations, I'm going to use just the bodies. So here we go. So price right up to our target area off the reversal. This is great information here, guys. So what can we anticipate? Once we reach this -2 to 2.5 region, we can anticipate consolidation or retracement. So if we get consolidation, then what we might see is price slow up here today. We might see a move lower into this gap if this gap confirms before we continue higher. We get a closure above this -2.5 and we're looking for this target. Let's jump over to Bitcoin. Excuse me, sorry about that. Couldn't get quick enough. Nice. We did have a bullish closure yesterday. The sellers did come in, but what I'm liking at the moment is we've got a small wick to the downside for today. and we are balancing. I'm giving a balanced price range here to the previous day week. So I really like this. I'm looking for this high to be taken. The next one will be the closure through this bearish FEG here and how price reacts off this wick. Okay, so remaining bullish for Bitcoin. Maybe the bottom is in. Maybe we'll start seeing something happen with these alts. Would be delightful if we could see some alts start to do something. I think ETH has been having a bit of a move as well. So let's go crypto. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate you all for tuning in. Be sure to share the channel far and wide. Views have dropped off a little on the channel, so I'd love your support to push it out to as many viewers as possible. Share it in your communities or with your trading buddies, would be greatly appreciated. And be sure to join Trade Foundry. The link is in the description. Grab your Tradeify and Apex evals using code JimmyTrades for Tradeify and code Jimmy for Apex. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. We'll see you over in Trade Foundry. Bye for now.